6 months after I caught my parents checking my pulse every night at 2:47 a.m., I found my own apartment. When I told them over dinner, my mom dropped her fork. It clattered against the plate. She stood up, walked to the bathroom, locked herself inside. My dad just stared at me, his face completely blank. "When?" he asked quietly. "Next month. I found a place downtown. It's small, but it's perfect." That night, I checked the camera footage. My father came into my room 5 times. 5 times. Each time pressing his fingers to my wrist, checking my pulse, standing there longer, crying harder. We'd made so much progress in therapy. 3 months of healing, of talking about Sarah, my twin sister who died of SIDS, of slowly letting go. And in one dinner conversation, we were right back where we started. What happened over the next 6 weeks nearly destroyed everything we'd built, but it also taught us the most important lesson about love, loss, and letting go. Stay with me, because this is the story of how my family finally learned to heal. If you haven't seen part 1, the link is in the description. You need to watch that first to understand this story. And if this story is touching your heart, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Your support means everything. Comment below if you've ever struggled to leave home because of family trauma. Now, back to the story. Let me catch you up quickly. I'm Sophie Turner. I'm 24. 6 months ago, I discovered my parents had been checking my pulse every night while I slept, for 24 years. When I confronted them, they revealed the truth. I had a twin sister, Sarah. She died of SIDS when we were 6 months old, at 2:47 p.m. on October 15th. Ever since that day, my parents have been checking on me at 2:47 a.m., making sure I'm still breathing, still alive, terrified they'd lose me too. After I found out, we started therapy. All of us, together and individually. We made incredible progress. My parents started going 2, then 3, then 4 nights without checking my pulse. They put up photos of Sarah around the house. They talked about her openly. They visited her grave with me. My mom even started volunteering with a SIDS support group, helping other parents who'd lost babies. I thought we were healing. I thought we'd turned a corner. Then I made a mistake. I decided it was time to move out. I'd been living at home since college, saving money. But I was 24 years old. I had a good job as a graphic designer. I could afford my own place. And honestly, I needed space. Not because I didn't love my parents, but because I needed to be an adult, have my own life, not feel like a replacement for a dead child every time my father checked my pulse. I found a 1-bedroom apartment downtown, walking distance from work, affordable, perfect. I was excited, nervous, ready for this next chapter. I should have known it wouldn't be that simple. I decided to tell them over dinner, Thursday night. We were having spaghetti, my mom's specialty. We were talking about normal things, work, the weather, my mom's book club. Then I said it. "I have some news. Good news." They both looked up, smiling, expectant. "I found an apartment, downtown. I'm moving out next month." The silence was immediate and crushing. My mom's fork dropped. The clang echoed in the kitchen. She stood up so fast, her chair scraped against the floor. "Excuse me," she said, her voice tight. She walked to the bathroom. I heard the door lock. My dad sat perfectly still. His face had gone white. "Next month?" he repeated. "Yeah. The lease starts March 1st. It's a great place. You'll love it. 1 bedroom, good neighborhood." "Why?" The question caught me off guard. "What do you mean, why? I'm 24, Dad. It's time." "You don't have to leave. We're not charging you rent. You have everything you need here." "I know, and I appreciate that. But I need my own space, my own life. Is it because of us? Because we're too much? Too overbearing?" "No, it's because I'm an adult. This is what adults do. They move out, get their own place." He looked at me for a long moment. Then he nodded, slowly. "Okay, if that's what you want." But I could see it in his eyes. The fear, the panic, the trauma resurfacing. "Dad, we're going to be fine. I'll only be 15 minutes away. I'll visit all the time." I said, "Okay, Sophie." His voice was flat, empty. Do what you need to do. He stood up, went to the living room, turned on the TV. But I knew he wasn't watching it. My mom stayed in the bathroom for 20 minutes. When she finally came out, her eyes were red. She didn't look at me, just went upstairs to her bedroom. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the camera in my room, waiting. At 2:47 a.m., my door opened. My father came in, checked my pulse, stood there for 5 minutes, crying. He left, came back at 3:15, checked again, stood there, left, came back at 4, checked again, at 5:30, again, at 6:45, one more time, 5 times in 4 hours. We'd regressed completely. The next morning, I found my dad in the kitchen. He looked exhausted, dark circles under his eyes. "Dad, you came into my room 5 times last night." He didn't deny it, just poured his coffee. I couldn't sleep. "We've been doing so well. You'd gone almost a week without checking. That was before you told us you're leaving." "I'm not leaving. I'm moving 15 minutes away." "It's not the same." His voice cracked. "When you're here, I know you're safe. I can check. I can see you breathing. If you're somewhere else..." He couldn't finish the sentence. "Dad, I'm not going to die. I'm not Sarah." His face crumpled. "I know that. Intellectually, I know that. But the fear doesn't care about logic. The fear says, she's leaving. You're losing her. Just like Sarah." "Then we need to talk to Dr. Morrison. Call her, today." He shook his head. "She can't fix this, Sophie. No one can." "She can help. That's what therapists do. Call her, please." He finally agreed. An hour later, we had an emergency session scheduled, all 3 of us, that afternoon. We sat in Dr. Morrison's office, my parents on the couch, me in the chair across from them. Dr. Morrison looked at each of us. "Tell me what happened." My mom spoke first. Her voice was barely a whisper. "She's leaving. She's moving out. And I can't breathe when I think about it." "Why can't you breathe, Linda?" "Because what if something happens? What if she gets sick? What if there's an emergency? What if..." Her voice broke. "What if we lose her too?" Sophie is 24 years old, an adult. Moving out is a natural, healthy step. You understand that, right? "Yes," my mom said. "But understanding doesn't stop the panic." Dr. Morrison turned to my dad. "Robert, you checked Sophie's pulse 5 times last night. That's the most you've checked in months. What was going through your mind?" My dad's jaw clenched. "That I can't protect her if she's not here. That I failed Sarah. And I'm going to fail Sophie too." "You didn't fail Sarah. SIDS is unpredictable. Unpreventable. We've talked about this." "I know what we've talked about. But at 3 a.m., standing in my daughter's room, logic doesn't matter. Fear matters. And the fear is screaming that if she leaves, I'll lose her." Dr. Morrison leaned forward. "Here's what I'm hearing. Sophie's announcement triggered your trauma response. Moving out represents loss. And loss is what you're most afraid of." Both my parents nodded. "So let me ask you this. What are you more afraid of? That Sophie might get hurt living on her own? Or that by holding on too tight, you'll damage your relationship with her?" Silence. "Because right now, you're putting Sophie in an impossible position. She can either stay and sacrifice her independence to manage your fear, or she can leave and feel guilty for causing you pain. Neither is fair to her." My mom started crying. "I don't want her to feel guilty. I just want her to be safe." "She is safe. She's healthy. She's responsible. You've raised a capable adult. The question is, can you trust that? Can you let her grow up?" My dad's voice was barely audible. "What if we can't?" Dr. Morrison's response was gentle, but firm. "Then you need to ask yourselves if you're honoring Sarah's memory by living in fear, or dishonoring it by refusing to heal." The room went silent. After the session, we drove home in silence. The tension in the car was suffocating. When we got home, my mom went straight upstairs, my dad to the garage. I stood in the hallway, alone, wondering if I should just cancel the apartment. Stay here, keep them comfortable. Then I got angry. Not at them, at the situation. At Sid's. At the unfairness of a tragedy that happened 24 years ago, still controlling our lives. I walked upstairs, stopped outside a door I'd passed 1,000 times but never really noticed. The guest room, or at least that's what my parents had always called it. But we'd never had guests. The door was always locked. I'd never questioned it. Until now. I knocked on my parents' bedroom door. My mom opened it, her eyes still red. "The locked room," I said. "The one at the end of the hall. What's in there?" Her face went pale. "Sophie." "What's in there, Mom?" "It's just storage." "Then unlock it. Show me." "I don't think that's a good idea. I'm moving out in 4 weeks. I deserve to know what you've been hiding from me my entire life." She stared at me for a long moment. Then she nodded, slowly. "Let me get your father." 5 minutes later, all 3 of us stood outside the locked door. My dad held a key. His hand was shaking. "Before we open this," he said quietly, "you need to understand. We kept this locked because it was too painful, not because we were trying to hide Sarah from you, but because we were trying to hide from our own grief." "What's in there?" He put the key in the lock, turned it. The door swung open. I stepped inside, and my breath caught. It was a nursery. Pink walls, 2 cribs, a rocking chair, shelves of baby books, a mobile hanging from the ceiling, stuffed animals, a changing table. Everything was covered in dust, frozen in time, exactly as it had been 24 years ago. "This was your room," my mom whispered behind me. "Yours and Sarah's. We never changed it, never touched it. After Sarah died, we closed the door, and we never opened it again." I walked to one of the cribs. It had pink sheets, a stuffed elephant inside. "This was Sarah's?" "Yes. You had the blue elephant. She had the pink one." I reached out, touched the elephant. It was dusty but soft. On the changing table, there were 2 framed photos, me and Sarah, as babies, the same photos from the album. "You kept everything," I said. "We couldn't let go," my dad said. "We thought if we got rid of her things, we'd lose her completely." I turned to look at them. They were standing in the doorway, not coming in, like the room itself was sacred ground. "This is what you couldn't tell me," I said. "This is the secret." "Yes. You've kept this room locked for 24 years, kept Sarah preserved like a museum, because you couldn't move forward." My mom sobbed. "We tried, we really tried, but every time we thought about clearing it out, the guilt was overwhelming." I looked around the room, at the dust, the frozen time, the shrine to a baby who died before she really lived. "This isn't healthy," I said quietly. "Keeping this room like this, it's not helping you heal, it's keeping you stuck." "We know," my dad said. "Dr. Morrison told us the same thing years ago, but we couldn't—" "Then let me help you," I interrupted. "Before I move out, let's do this together. Let's clear this room, not to forget Sarah, but to make space for healing." They looked at each other, a long, painful look. "Okay," my mom finally said. "Okay." The next Saturday, we started. The 3 of us. Boxes, trash bags, tissues. We began with the books. Dr. Seuss, Goodnight Moon, baby board books that had never been read. "Should we donate these?" I asked. My mom hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, to the SID support group, for other families." We packed them carefully, each book a memory, a life that could have been. Next, the stuffed animals, dozens of them. Bears, rabbits, the elephants from the cribs. "I want to keep these," my dad said, holding Sarah's pink elephant. "Just this one." "Of course." The clothes were harder. Tiny onesies, sleepers, dresses Sarah never got to wear. My mom held up a yellow dress. This was for her 6-month photos. We were going to take professional pictures. The appointment was scheduled for October 20th, 5 days after she died. She broke down completely, sobbing into the dress. I held her, let her cry. My dad joined us. The three of us standing in that dusty nursery, crying for a baby who'd been gone for 24 years but still felt so present. "It's okay," I whispered. "It's okay to cry. It's okay to miss her." We worked for hours, packing, sorting, crying, laughing sometimes when we found something funny. A onesie that said, "Daddy's little tax deduction," baby socks that were impossibly small. By evening, the room was mostly empty, just the furniture left, the cribs, the rocking chair, the changing table. "What do we do with these?" I asked. "We donated your crib after you grew out of it," my mom said. "But Sarah's, we kept it. Do you want to keep keeping it?" She looked at my dad. He shook his head. "No, it's time. Donate it. Let another baby use it. A baby who'll grow up." We called a charity. They came the next day, took the furniture. The room was empty, just pink walls, dusty floors, afternoon light streaming through the window. "What should we do with the room now?" I asked. My mom walked to the window, looked out at the backyard. "A sewing room. I've always wanted a place to quilt." My dad nodded. "We'll paint it, new color. Make it yours, Linda." She smiled, small but real. Okay. Before we left, I walked to the center of the empty room, stood there, silent. "Goodbye, Sarah," I said quietly. "I wish I'd known you, but I promise, I'll remember you, always." My parents joined me. We stood together in the empty nursery, saying goodbye to a baby, a sister, a daughter. Finally letting go. 2 weeks later, I moved into my apartment. My parents helped, carried boxes, assembled furniture, hung curtains. They were quiet but present, supportive. When everything was done, we stood in my new living room. Small, mostly empty, but mine. "It's perfect," my mom said, and I could tell she meant it. "You're welcome anytime," I said. "Seriously, I'm 15 minutes away. We can have dinner, watch movies, whatever you want." My dad hugged me, tight. "I'm proud of you, and I'm sorry for making this harder than it needed to be. You're healing. That's not easy. I understand." "No, you don't," he said. "But thank you for trying." They left around 8 p.m. I stood at my window, watching their car drive away. Then I was alone, in my own apartment, for the first time in my life. It felt strange, quiet, a little scary, but also liberating. That night, at 2:47 a.m., my phone rang. My dad. "Hello?" "Hi, sweetheart. I'm sorry to wake you. I needed to know you're okay." "Dad, I'm fine. I'm asleep." I know you are. I just had to hear your voice." "Do you want to come check my pulse?" He laughed, short and sad. "No, I want to trust that you're okay, that you're safe, that I don't need to check." "Then trust. I'm okay. I promise." "Okay. Good night, Sophie." "Good night, Dad." He called the next night too, and the next, not at 2:47, but earlier, around 9 p.m., just to talk. After a week, the calls became every other night, then every few nights, then just weekends. Progress. Slow, but real. It's been 3 months since I moved out. 3 months of living on my own, building my life, being independent. My parents are doing well, better than I expected. My mom finished converting Sarah's nursery into a sewing room. She made me a quilt, with Sarah's name embroidered in one corner. "So she's always with you," Mom said. I hung it on my bed, a reminder, not of death, but of love. My dad still struggles sometimes. Last week, he called at 2:47 a.m. "I'm sorry," he said. "I tried not to, but I needed to hear your voice." "It's okay, Dad. I'm here. I'm safe. I know. I'm getting better. I promise." "I know you are." We have dinner every Sunday, at their house or mine. We talk about normal things, work, friends, TV shows, Not everything is about Sarah. Not everything is about trauma. Sometimes it is. Last Sunday, my mom showed me a photo album I'd never seen. Pictures of Sarah. Hundreds of them. "I want you to know her," she said. "Really know her." So I'm learning. About my twin. About the baby I was supposed to grow up with. It's strange. Sad. But also beautiful. Yesterday was October 15th. The 24th anniversary of Sarah's death. The three of us visited her grave together. We brought daisies. We sat on the grass. We talked. "I used to come here alone," my dad said. "Every October 15th. Your mom couldn't handle it, but I needed to say sorry for not protecting her." "And now?" I asked. "Now I know I have nothing to apologize for. Sarah died. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't anyone's fault. It was just tragedy." My mom took his hand. "We're healing. Finally. Really healing." I looked at Sarah's headstone. Small. Simple. Sarah Marie Turner, our angel. "She would have loved you," I said to the grave. And I think I would have loved her too. We sat there as the sun set. A family. Broken. But healing. Together. I'm Sophie Turner. I'm 25 now. I live in my own apartment. I have my own life. My parents don't check my pulse anymore, not because the fear is gone, but because they've learned that love isn't about control. It's about trust. Sarah's death taught them to hold tight. My moving out taught them to let go. Both lessons were necessary. Healing from trauma isn't linear. There are setbacks, relapses, hard nights, phone calls at 2:47 a.m. But there's also progress. Empty nurseries becoming sewing rooms, weekly dinners, quilts with names embroidered, visits to graves without guilt. If your family is stuck in trauma, I want you to know, healing is possible. It's hard. It's slow. It requires therapy and tears and clearing out rooms you've kept locked for 24 years. But it's possible. Sarah is gone. But she's not forgotten. She never will be. And my parents are finally learning to live with the loss instead of being controlled by it. It's a slow process. But we're getting there. Together. Thank you so much for watching Part 2. If you haven't seen Part 1, link is in the description. And please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Your support means everything. Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. See you next time.